Three armed men entered the kebab restaurant in Adana, Turkey. They knocked the grilling skewers from the hands of 63-year-old Master Kemal. But the Turkish chef didn't look scared, because 36 years ago, he was the most feared Turkish Mafia boss in the Çukurova region. And today, his past was coming home. Kemal Yılmaz was the owner of Mangal Master, a kebab restaurant on Ataturk Street in Adana, Turkey. At 63 years old, powerfully built, known for the towel he constantly used to wipe his sweaty forehead, he had been standing at the same traditional Turkish grill for 40 years. Every day he'd arrive at 6 a.m., light his mangal, the traditional Turkish charcoal grill, and work until 11 p.m. He was truly a master at making Adana kebab, Turkey's most legendary dish. But Kemal's past was far more complex than grilling meat. Customers called him Master Kemal, with respect, both for his kebab mastery and the authority they somehow sensed beneath his humble exterior. Nobody knew that Kemal was the head of the Çukurova Turkish crime syndicate from 1980 to 1987. During that period, 1980s Turkey was in chaos following a military coup. From Adana to Mersin, from Hatay to Osmaniye, he controlled a region spanning across southern Turkey. Everything from agricultural deals to construction contracts, from produce transport to cotton trade, it all required Kemal's approval. But in 1987, a major crackdown came. Kemal managed to escape, changed his identity, and had been quietly making kebabs for 36 years. In Turkey, the crossroads between Europe and Asia, even the most powerful men could disappear and reinvent themselves. Until today. Ever felt like nobody knows who you really are? Type hidden master. That evening, the restaurant was supposed to close at its normal time. But Kemal noticed three men waiting outside. They had familiar body language, coordinated, professional, the kind of movement that spoke of organized crime training. When they entered, Kemal recognized them, the Karataş family. 36 years ago, they had tried to take over Kemal's controlled territories in the fertile Çukurova plains of southern Turkey. Back then, they were children. Now they ran operations, and they had found Kemal. Everyone down, empty the register. When the first gunshot rang out, the old Turkish crime lord inside Kemal awakened. But he wasn't that man anymore. Was he? The 1980s Çukurova region was a different world. After Turkey's military coup, chaotic times, agriculture, commerce, transport, everything was controlled by organized groups. Kemal's Turkish crime syndicate was the largest. Fair, tough, but just. Nobody caused trouble in his territory. In the Turkish criminal underworld, respect was everything. Kemal's organization wasn't just about crime, it was about maintaining order in a region where the government couldn't. The Çukurova Plains, Turkey's agricultural heartland, needed strong leadership during turbulent times. How do you feel when your past catches up to you? Type 1980s old scores.
Oğuz Karataş, Kemal called out, keeping his voice low. The robbers' leader froze. That voice. He knew that voice. Kemal Yılmaz, the Turkish crime boss? Everyone in the restaurant looked at them both in amazement. Cashier Ayşe Hanım had known Kemal for 15 years, but this Kemal in the conversation was someone else entirely. "Why are you here, son?" Kemal asked. He no longer had the humble neighborhood uncle demeanor. His posture had changed. He was the Turkish crime lord again. "You killed my father. I've been hunting you for 30 years. "I didn't kill your father. He died in the 1987 crackdown. You were a child. You don't know the truth." Kemal slowly pulled something from inside his jacket, a silver lighter from the old days. On it was engraved, "Çukurova Leader," in Turkish script. He placed the lighter on the table. "This was your father's gift. He gave it to me in 1985 when we made peace." The Çukurova region operated by different rules than the rest of Turkey. It wasn't just about territory or money. It was about honor, family, and respect. Turkish crime families understood that violence was the last resort, not the first.
The Kemal says is that they had a lot of child sectors. Ever had to return to your old identity? Type, Turkish crime lord returns.
Your father and I weren't enemies, Kemal said. We were partners. We governed Çukurova in peace.
Oğuz's eyes widened. You're lying. No, son. Your father was my right hand. From 1985 to 1987, we worked together. The east side of the Seyhan River was his, the west side was mine. In peace. Kemal pointed to old photographs hanging on the restaurant wall. Look at that photograph. It was from 1985, a Çukurova cotton harvest celebration. Kemal and Hasan Karataş stood side by side, smiling. In the background was the characteristic atmosphere of 1980s Turkey. How is this possible? Do you know the Çukurova Code, son? The land provides for everyone, fighting serves no one. Your father wrote this code with me. Kemal pulled out a notebook from the table. Old, leather-bound. Inside were rules written by hand in Turkish. 1. Never harm farmers. 2. Never touch children. 3. Respect women always. 4. Land is for abundance, not war. 5. Justice for all equally. Oğuz took the notebook. He recognized his father Hasan's handwriting. Your father was the man who wrote these rules, son, not me. I just enforced them. In 1980s Turkey, the concept of honor was sacred. Turkish crime families operated by strict codes that often provided more stability than the government could during those chaotic post-coup years. Ever learned you owed a family debt? Type Çukurova Code.
Then why did you disappear? Why did you vanish? Oğuz asked.
Kemal took a deep breath. Because the game had gotten too big. As the 1980s ended, major changes were coming. Political affairs, big money. I could no longer protect the Çukurova Code. What do you mean? In 1987, before the big crackdown, I was given an offer. Either join them or be eliminated. Do you know what I did? I made an iron will decision. Oğuz looked on with curiosity. I distributed money to all my men, sent everyone to different cities, told them to start clean businesses. Then I disappeared too. For 36 years at this grill, I stood behind that iron will decision every single day. What about my father? Your father chose to stay. He wanted to protect his lands. He was caught in that crackdown. I couldn't save him. Kemal's eyes filled with tears. He had carried this guilt for 36 years. Every day at this grill, I think about your father. Every kebab I make, I use the spices he loved, with iron will. Oğuz was surprised. Did my father love kebab? Very much, especially lightly spiced, grilled over high heat. In the 1980s, he would come here and we'd eat together. Kemal took a freshly grilled portion from the mangal and placed it in front of Oğuz. Your father's special recipe. I've been making it to honor him for 36 years. Have you ever given someone a second chance with iron will? Type iron will. When Oğuz tasted the kebab, his eyes filled with tears. His father really did love this recipe. As a child, he remembered his father talking longingly about the kebab that Master Kemal made. So you're that Master Kemal? Yes, son. The master your father talked about. My father always talked about you. My best friend from the 1980s, Master Kemal, he would say. I never knew. Because he kept my identity secret to protect me. He said, don't let his name get out, don't let them find him. Oğuz put his gun on the table. I misunderstood everything. No, son, you were seeking the truth. Now you know the real story. That night, Oğuz talked with Kemal until dawn. He listened to his father's stories. He learned about the 1980s Çukurova. The next day, Oğuz came back with his friends. But this time, not for revenge, but to learn from Master Kemal. Master, how can I continue my father's path? Do clean business, serve the people, apply the Çukurova Code, but most importantly, change with iron will. What does iron will mean? Son, iron will means this. No matter how difficult it is, choose what's right. In 1987, I made the hardest decision. Instead of continuing with power, I chose peace. For 36 years, every day I stood behind that decision. That's iron will. Iron will message. True power is being able to overcome the past. A true master can build peace with iron will. Iron will message. Today, Master Kemal still stands at the same grill, but he's no longer alone. Oğuz and his friends help him. They're learning clean business. A new sign was hung on the restaurant wall. Çukurova Code, Justice through Iron Will. Customers wonder what the sign means. Kemal explains with a smile. An old tradition. With iron will, we don't favor anyone. We treat everyone equally. Oğuz now learns both grill mastery and manages his father's clean businesses with iron will. He helps farmers, finds jobs for young people, maintains peace in the neighborhood. Master, he sometimes says, will I have iron will like my father? Stronger, son, because you learned from our mistakes and chose the right path with iron will. On warm Adana evenings by the Seyhan River, the children of former enemies now eat kebab at the same table. This is peace built with iron will. This too was a kind of iron will victory. Kemal's story teaches us this. No matter how dark the past, transformation is possible through iron will. A man who led 1980s organized crime can become a symbol of peace 36 years later through iron will. The hot soil of Çukurova was the center of conflict in the 1980s. Now it's the cradle of peace. Because Master Kemal used his power not for revenge, but to raise the next generation with iron will. Maybe you know a Master Kemal too. Someone who made peace with their past and builds the future with iron will. Value them, because true power isn't in destroying the past, but in learning from it and building the future with iron will. Turkey, the bridge between Europe and Asia, has always been a land of transformation. From the Ottoman Empire to modern Turkey, from crime lords to kebab masters, change is possible when you have iron will. Subscribe to Iron Will Stories, shocking stories of people who completely transformed their lives through sheer iron will. If this Turkish transformation story moved you and you understand what true mastery means, please like and share. Turkey is full of Master Kemals. Let's tell their stories. See you in our next Iron Will story. If this story moved you, type Iron Will Master, because true masters teach peace through iron will. Turkey, the song. 10 years later, Mangal Master became one of Adana's most famous kebab restaurants. But it's famous not just for its kebab, but for its story. Oğuz now runs the business. Master Kemal taught him both the art of grilling and the Çukurova Code. An old photograph hangs at the restaurant entrance. Kemal and Hasan Karataş at the 1985 cotton harvest, smiling. Below it reads, "Peace is possible." Çukurova's young generation comes here, both to eat kebab and to learn iron will lessons. Master Kemal's favorite saying, "No matter how hot the grill fire, iron will is stronger." And this iron will continue to burn for generations. The man who spread fear in 1980s Turkey now spreads love in 2020's Adana through iron will. This too was a kind of iron will victory.